And you're live. You're live.
I'm live. No intro today?
Yes, you're live.
Sup, welcome to Ghost Chat Radio. I am your host, the Paranormal Rebel, Stanton. I don't even know if you have called in yet or not. I couldn't tell you, but well, anyway, it's all good. We'll figure it out one step at a time. But I got a guy named William Benjamin coming on later on. He's actually the guest, and then we're supposed to have Jody Smith on. She's going to be co-hosting with me tonight, which is the first time I've ever had a co-host for an evening. So it's honestly a very good honor of myself to have her help me out tonight and work with me a little bit. So hopefully she will call in. Well, anyway, I am going to encourage everyone that, the tickets for Palmyra, New York event is still going on. Please get them. Don't waste the time. Just go out, get your ticket, have a blast. It's going to be a good old time. That's all I got to say. I'm going to try to keep all my clothes on during this event, so we'll see what happens. And then I am also going to continue to encourage people as well. Go to Amazon, check out Unrested Peace. That is my very special book of some excellent times that I had when I was a teenager. I know these guys will enjoy the hell out of it because, let's just face the facts, it's a good story, it's a true story, it's some paranormal activity, it's a romance novel, it's a lot of crap all rolled into one, and you'll love it, and it's definitely has had some pretty good reviews, which I'm honored to know, and I'm honored to know that people actually like it, which is kind of cool. September 20th. Another date everybody could mark into their calendar is St. Alvin Sanatorium benefit. You can purchase a ticket. You can message me and say, hey, Jay, I want to purchase a ticket, but I am not encouraging you to do that. What I am encouraging is to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, pick up a $50 gift card, and send me a copy of the receipt, fax it to me, so I can get your name on the list. Once your name is on the list, then you're in. Your ticket's bought. That's all you got to do. So that's going to be great. And not to mention, that's also around the time of my birthday, so it's also going to be a birthday bash all in one. So it's going to be great. Oh, hold on. Apparently, I gave someone the wrong number. Yeah, I did. I gotta send a number the correct way. Let me see here. I forgot like a whole fucking section. Okay. I think we may have it. I'm not sure. I think we may. And then apparently Jody just said she's going to call now, so hopefully she'll be ringing in. And then I could chat with her until the other guy calls in, and we'll have a great time, which is always great. But anyway, I am also going to say this, that the tickets for these events that I have, I only have 2 events going on. I am not planning any more events right now. I'm putting all of that on hold. I'm even putting my book signings on hold because I have a filming schedule coming up for a brand new TV show, which I know you guys are going to love. I can't mention any more about it. That's all I can say. So, I mean, these kind of events, if you want to really investigate with me and hang out with me, these are the only two options, chances you're going to get for a little bit, and that's about it. So I will encourage people that, if you have an investigation, a private one of your own, and you want me to attend and help you out, feel free, not half at it, just go for it. So, just give me a message, and I'll do it.
Hey, your test is there.
Come on. Hello? Are you there?
Hello.
Hello?
am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jody. How are you? Are you there?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Yes, I'm here.
I give you somewhat of an introduction that you're going to be co-hosting tonight with me.
I'm having a delay.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
I'm having a delay.
Yeah. And then we have Benjamin Williams will be calling in soon, so hopefully we can get to the bottom of all of his stuff, which would be awesome. But until that moment, what? I have no idea. So until that moment, Jody, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? You used to have a radio show too, right?
I still have a radio show, actually. I do a show called No Limit. It's political talk. In fact, I'm having a problem with that delay that's very distracting. I'm just call back in.
Hey, Jody, you're down. Really down.
Yeah, I'm going to call you back.
All right, call me back. Oh, well, let's see what happens. See what happens. I don't know. Hey, we'll figure it out. Jody's awesome. I love Jody to death. Good friend of mine. Just a fantastic person altogether. I know everyone will love her, so. And she's going to, like I said, help me co-host, and it's going to be great. I can't wait. But anyway, tonight we're going to be discussing all kinds of weird stuff, which that's always fun. You know how I do. Again, I've been really sick lately. I don't know why. I don't know if it's been the weather, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'd like to... Hello? Hello? I thought someone called in. I heard a click. Oh, fucking no.
No, yeah, just you.
It's just me? I thought I heard a click. I was like, what? I'm freaking out now.
That's just the voices in your head. You're totally fine.
I have a lot of voices in my head. I think my voices got voices, and their voices have cousins that they like to talk to. It's all fucked up. It's all good, though. It's all good. I'd like to discuss a little bit on basically every time I do an event. I always discuss safety. Safety is a major concern with me because let's just face it, if you can't investigate safely, you're all fucked up. So it is what it is. So I'd like to discuss that, and there's a lot of things that I tend to look at as a major factor that a lot of people tend to neglect, and I'm really going to stress these couple of points. So, one, doing a daytime walkthrough is always important. That's extremely important. So, even if you're the Yahoo who's trespassing and going into buildings.
Sorry, Jason, you're upstairs there. A gentleman there.
Oh, Benjamin's here. Hey, you there, Ben? Oh, yeah, Ben.
Hello?
You there?
Yeah, my name's Nick.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Ben gave me this number with the prison of NC.
Oh, yeah. How come he didn't call in?
Oh, well, I don't know. I thought he was going to call, but he referred me the number, so I guess that should be fine, I hope.
It's all good. It's all good. I was just discussing a little bit about safety and investigation.
Hello.
Yes.
Is that Jody?
Yes.
Jody's back? Jody's co-hosting tonight.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties on my end. It is completely my fault.
That's okay, because I'm getting a little, it's getting a little jitter here on this end as well.
We'll be okay. It'll work. One way or another, it'll work. So,
Okay, great.
but why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Mick?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm the founder of the Prism of NC. We originally started at the beginning around 2012. Prior to that, I was co-founder of the Spring Lake, North Carolina Ghost Hunters, which had originated in 2000. At the time, our co-founder, had passed a couple of years after that, and so I decided to take on the responsibilities of continuing the team. After running that for several years, I realized that as founder of that team, I wanted to change the name. There's nothing personally that I have against the title Ghost Hunter, but to be more respectful of the spirits and the entities as well as the clients themselves, I feel that in this field, being properly named as a paranormal investigator is best suited. So we then changed our name as well as a lot of our procedures, and we changed it to the Prism of NC, which is an acronym which stands for Paranormal Research and Investigative Science Mission of North Carolina.
That's a big name.
Yes, but
I like it.
Our logo it stands out pretty well. It has the state of North Carolina with a wave in through the center of it, so I believe it stands pretty well, and it gets a lot more attention versus running around with a T-shirt that says Ghost Hunter on it. I have quite a few friends that are actual ghost hunters, and they don't necessarily do per se what the title says. A lot of people firsthand when they come across somebody as a ghost hunter, right off the bat they want to associate that with being someone who's on a reality show that actually runs through and screaming and provoking and throw something at me, something along that line.
Right.
Hey, Jody. Real
Yes.
quick, before we started the show, you said you were going to put on some sexy voice. I don't hear it yet.
You don't hear it? Well, that's because there's not that much on.
My dick's not getting hard yet, Jody.
Wow, Jason, I'm going to have to work on that.
All right.
I'm gonna work on that.
Okay. You have any questions now?
Who?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah. All right. Here's one. Here's one for me. What's the difference between something that I think really should get discussed, the difference between a ghost hunter, a researcher, and an investigator?
Well, like I had just said, actually they both pretty much do the same. It's just for myself and as others that I run into across in the field, professionally speaking, paranormal investigator it seems to be more suited for the field when it comes to confronting or coming across an entity, as well as making an initial interview with the client. A lot of people speculate. They hear the title Ghost Hunter, and it basically is what it says. You hunt ghosts. And I don't want anyone to associate me with that term because that's not what we do. We research, we analyze, and we help the client better understand what's going on in their household or place of business.
Okay. Whether it may or may not be a ghost.
Yes, exactly. And first off, with the interview, we do the walkthrough, of course, and also a lot of times, what comes to mind is the word debunked. Are you familiar with that word?
I hate that word. What about you, Jason?
Debunked? I don't like it. I think it's just some kind of cliche that people see on TV, and all of a sudden there's some big popular term that's thrown in the dictionary that doesn't even exist.
That's true. That's true. I can understand that. I mean, we do exactly when we don't use that word per se. It's just that I guess what falls into that category of actually going through to figure out what most likely would explain the reasons behind things happening. And a lot of times when something happens in a household, a client will say, he or she is experiencing something, and not knowing that it could be numerous things. It could be something electrical that's going on in the house. It could be foundation issues. It could be plumbing, things that could be commonly explained off.
Well, absolutely, and I think that frequently happens with a lot of clients. I mean, I've had that happen personally with a lot of my clients with the group that I work with as well. Some things can be easily explained away, but, let's face it, not always.
Yeah, you're right. Not always. It's not always the case. But it's good to address that first and foremost. I mean, we don't want our clients to feel like, we're not believing in what they're saying. We want to rationally address ourselves comfortably and understand what their situation is, and make sure the concern and care is there, because whether or not they think something is going on, something might be going on, whether it's something, because in some cases we've come across where one for example, a woman in Benson had a situation going on in her house. And this was a very old house. It was at least 30 years old. And she had a 2-story home. Her bedroom was upstairs. Directly below, in the basement, she has a lot of paint. Okay? These chemicals, a lot of them weren't closed. And so the vapors were rising from the basement all the way up through her bedroom, which was directly below. And so these chemicals can cause, hallucinations and other instances, physical, problems as well.
And how much paint are we talking? What are we talking about here? How much paint are we talking about?
Well, she had quite a bit of paint. 5-gallon drums, separate gallons of acetones and thinners, and quite a few things. I mean, if it was something like maybe 1 or 2 gallons, that's not really something would probably notice right off the bat, But there are certain other circumstances that might fall into that. Like, say, for example, EMFs. Are you familiar with those, right? And say, for example, somebody has this one case that we had gone to where the lady had a tanning bed in her bedroom. This tanning bed was ancient. Years ago, I mean, of course, being as old as the tanning beds are, when they came out, and then, of course, a lot of regulations have changed since then, which have more requirements nowadays. But this was an older unit, and so the EMS were really spiking up there. And being that she had the unit in her bedroom, was causing a lot of issues with herself.
I can imagine.
But on the other hand, there's not to say that something's not going on. That's why we always make sure we have an open mind when listening to what the client has to say.
Well, now let me ask you this. I hear what you're saying about having an open mind. Are you a believer, or are you more of a skeptic? How would you describe your personal view?
My personal view, I'm a believer. I've been a believer since I was 7.
Me too, since I was a small child. Okay.
I grew up with this situation, so I, more or less grew into the field.
Can you please share that story?
Yeah, Let's hear that.
What's that?
Let's hear your story.
Okay, well, when I was 7, my brother and me, we both bunked in the same room. And it's a little odd to be talking about, especially if it happened so long ago. But we had separate beds. I mean, this bunk bed was torn apart. Where they were broken down. One bed was on one end of the room, one was on the other end of the room. And to the back of the beds was the bedroom window, and to the front of us was the attic and the ceiling above the door. And I had always at that age, when you're thinking about the dark, a lot of things come to mind, especially when it comes time to go to bed. And we have these mimosa trees that were in the backyard, and they would always be, the branches were so long and extended that they were up against the window, and they would scratch against the window. And as you would see the silhouette through to the wall, it looked like a giant monster that was trying to get into your room, more or less. But anyway, aside from that, as the night grew later, there was, I would always see shadows. And I became familiar with shadow people long after that. And there was times when I was feeling the presence that was lifting my blankets up as when I was 7.
Oh, wow.
And was tugging my blanket, and I was thinking it was my brother because he would always be playing practical jokes on me, at the foot of my bed, pulling the blanket, and I would be looking over and seeing him turn the other direction asleep. And it wasn't him, but it was something that was really, really tugging at my blanket, trying to pull it down. And I would tell my parents about it, and of course, their rationale was, go to sleep, you ate too much, and you're just hallucinating, or, no more scary movies for you. So, but from that point on, there was quite a few instances where I would come across and I would see silhouettes walking around the house, and I would tell my mom, and of course she was very religious, and she thought that I needed to be blessed. My brother didn't see anything, but I was the only one that ever did, and it pretty much, experiences like that pretty much followed me along all the way through my teenage years, and once I became an adult, it followed on through. And one of my most memorable experiences, I was in my 30s, I believe, and I was married at the time to my ex, and she had a little boy, and we stayed in this little apartment complex, and it was like 2 in the morning, and he had a tendency, he would have this little tricycle, and he would ride it around the house all the time, the kitchen floor, linoleum, and everything. And I wouldn't think nothing of it. Well, one night, 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to the sound of the tricycle going around in the kitchen. And now, my first thought was, what is he doing up? And he woke me up, so I was like, okay, I'm going to get him back into bed. So I go to where the sound is in the kitchen. I'm thinking, I'm expecting him to be there. And as I walk by his room, he's asleep. Okay, what's going on? So I go straight to the kitchen, and this tricycle is going around in circles by itself. Okay.
Wow. Nick, would you consider yourself a bit sensitive, being that you were the only one that experienced the apparition and so forth?
Yeah, because I've ran across a few friends of mine that more or less, acknowledged from what I was going through, and it's like, I have that somewhat of a feeling, it's not always something that you can turn on and off, and you can feel something there. It's there. Sometimes when it happens, it does, and then sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But when it does, you just have that feeling. It's just hard to explain.
I definitely think you're sensitive. From what you've said, your story is strangely parallel to what I experienced growing up. Absolutely. Have you ever tried to really work on that and enhance your abilities or your sensitivity?
I at first I was I was startled, pretty much.
Of course.
And I was thinking about it, and I got, well, when you get intrigued about something and something happens in that course, happens in your life, some people would just turn it away because they're scared of what had happened, and other people will dive into it. And I pretty much, I wanted to learn more and why it was happening, and why it was happening to me, you know. So I've been doing a lot of research and reading about the situation as well, you know, as how do you go about tuning in and progressing in that field, you know, to be more, I guess, more sensitive, I guess you would say. But at the same token, I wanted to share the information that I gained by getting more in depth with the field itself. So I was steered away from the ghost hunting altogether and went towards being a paranormal investigator and a researcher and really going forth with all the knowledge that's involved with that, you know, the analyzing. Because a lot of people that get into the field, they're under the assumption that the only thing that you're going to be worried about is running and taking pictures and you know, running an audio recorder. But there's a lot more depth to it than that, because the analyzing, whether it's audio and video, is very time-consuming.
Of course. You know, now I understand why you say that you don't want to be a ghost hunter, because the fact of the matter really is they're hunting you. You know that because you are sensitive, and so am I. They are actually hunting you. They are always with you, because once they know that you see them and that you feel them, they follow you.
That's true.
They're very intrigued by that. Mm-hmm.
I've heard so many people say that. Thank you.
It's true.
What's your story, Jody?
Well, you know, I have to tell you that it's funny that you started that way. When I was a little girl, about 5 years old,
all right, that's too low.
In my bedroom with the bunk bed, just
that's
exactly like what you said. It's so funny. I have a younger sister, and she was
30.
Yes.
We can pretend that. That's okay.
We can pretend that. I have a younger sister, and we can pretend that we are sleeping in separate beds in the bunk beds.
Mm-hmm. No, we can't pretend that. We can't pretend that at all.
We are cousins together at night in the bunk bed. And I was on the top bed. But what really happened was, I woke up in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, you know, it backed into the corner, and only one side was exposed. You know, the ladder went up the bed on that side, and the other side behind my head, and next to me to the right was always the wall. But I remember waking up and feeling that someone was there, and I wasn't really afraid, and all of a sudden I realized that someone was tickling me. Literally, they were tickling me. They were tickling me.
Yeah, they were.
They were, but
but
it was my grandfather. It was my paternal grandfather, and I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and my paternal grandfather lived all the way over in Kansas City. And, you know, when you're 5, you don't think of things like that, you know, your grandfather's 500 miles away. But I remember knowing that it was him. And he was tickling me, and I remember him touching my hair, and I don't know how long it lasted, but, you know, you're a little child, and I just went back to sleep. And the next morning, I went out into the kitchen, and I said to my parents, "Where's Grandpa? You know, where is he?" And they sort of looked at each other, and, you know, unlike you, no one ever tried to discourage me, ever. My mother is very intuitive, and I'm actually a fourth-generation intuitive on my mother's side, and so they didn't try to discourage me, and I found out years later that my parents used to come into my room and listen to stories that I would tell when I was asleep. But back to this story, my grandfather actually had died that night. And my father was his only child, and we were his only grandchildren. So it's only natural that, of course, he would have come there that night to say goodbye. And, you know, I didn't understand that he had died or that he was gone. I just, you know, was just looking for him. But ever since, that was the earliest memory that I have of anything like that happening to me. But throughout my life, you know, after that, I was terrified. I would see shadow figures in my room all the time when I would wake up all the time, and I was so scared to get out of bed, even to to get up. You're a little child, you want to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I was terrified. And throughout my life, I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and and wore the little schoolgirl uniform.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I did. I wore a little plaid. Yeah. And Catholic girls. So you can't talk about that at school. You can't go telling people at school that you're psychic, or that you're seeing things, that you're sensitive, or that people are talking to you at night. They think crazy. They'll put you away.
I remember in that day and era, when I was that time of year, people did not talk about that.
Now, considering that you brought up the Catholic schoolgirl and Jody's ass, no, I'm only kidding. But, and the roller.
I'm going to wear that skirt, Jason, for the next show.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about there, baby.
Mm-hmm.
From an investigator standpoint, how do you think that religion plays a factor in what you're doing as an investigator?
That's funny you should say that, because I was thinking about that when she was talking about the Catholic school and everything.
Yeah, you are.
I know. I wasn't thinking on that part. That did cross my mind. But anyway, the thought that a lot of religion, a lot of church organizations, they kind of frown on what you do, and when you bring it across to them, they're like, oh, well, you need to go confess, and you shouldn't be dabbling in that and everything. And I think about it, I'm like, well, I'm not that religious or anything, but I do believe that I know for a fact that there are, I can't quote per se which ones, but I'm sure there are some scriptures that do pretty much state about spirits and such. So I know it's not something that could be considered sinful.
It depends on what religion you are, and this is what I have found through my research. Honestly, Catholics, hey, we're good on everything. My family's from New Orleans. New Orleans Catholics, we believe in angels, saints, ghosts, spirits, voodoo. Yes. We drink, we party. We are different. We are a different breed. That is for sure. Yeah, and lots of other, and I have had many a Baptist frown upon my activities. That's for sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you come across when you come across clients and stuff, and the word evil?
Yes.
Demon. Because I know that there are times when we come across clients, and even there were some previous members of ours that associated that when you come across an entity and something goes wrong, right away they want to label it as a demon. Which is not always the case.
Were they Baptist?
Yeah,
I spent 7 years in Georgia.
It's like, are you kidding me? I was like, there is, it just says it is in the living world. There are good people and there are bad people. Okay.
Of course.
But what they have in the living realm, and then when they pass over, that characteristics follows along with them, and then they're so like, if they were evil to begin with, a bad person, and they just didn't get along with anybody, naturally when they're a spirit form, that trait is going to be there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you are a crotchety old bastard in life, you are going to be a son of a bitch in death. Jason, what do you think?
I'm still thinking of that Catholic girl thing.
I'm going to put that on for you, and we are going to Skype. I'm going to put that on for you, and we are going to Skype on that, Jason. I'm going to braid my... You know what? I went as the aging Britney Spears for Halloween. I got the whole outfit.
Really? After the show. We're going to get that shit.
Oops, I did.
No. The truth is, and that's where religion, I in my honest opinion, I guess it all depends what kind of investigating you're doing. I guess you can say, personally, I don't think you should have that belief structure while you're investigating or researching, depending on how you want to term it. Because, I mean, if you're investigating and or researching, that's what you're trying to do. Prove the existence of entities, trying to prove exactly what it is, how it is, what it's doing there, and why it's there. If you start bringing your belief structure and your evidence is going to be persuaded to fit that specific belief structure, and that's not necessarily going to be accurate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my thought. Now, as far as demons go, I was never big on demons. I personally, there isn't any evidence to suggest that there are demons.
Well, that's the way I look at it as well, because even if that was the case, the percentages are very, very minimal at most. People have been watching all these scary movies on TV, and so right off the bat they're going to associate, The Exorcist and whatever underneath the house and stuff like that, So,
I don't necessarily. I'm not going to say that I've ever come into contact with anything that I would personally consider a demon per se. I have come into contact with things that I would consider, and you guys can tell me what you think about this, to be elemental. Things that are very old, that are connected to the earth, and they're not necessarily always bad things, in my opinion. How do you feel about that? What do you think, Jason?
Say that again? I was someone messaging me and I had to message him back.
Elementals.
Elemental.
I've heard of them. I personally, I haven't experienced anything along that line.
Okay. Every once in a while, I come into contact. Like when I do, not too long ago, I went down to the Ripavilla plantation down in Tennessee, and it was fascinating. I'm hoping to go back there sometime. Actually in October. And
was something that you could distinguish identifying it as an elemental, or
it was almost like the spirit that I felt. Part of this is an intuitive thing, it really is, but the spirit that I felt that we came into contact with out there, it was way out on the property, way out, like there were old slave quarters and old buildings on the property, and a lot of water and nature out there, and I really felt like there was an entity on the property that was sort of a trickster, and that is something that I would consider to be more of an elemental. And maybe it was evil, but I don't necessarily want to say that I think that it was a demon. And some people would. Some people would label it as a demon, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that.
I just think they're just asshole ghosts. That's just my honest opinion.
Could be, and it could be.
I mean, I don't think Jeffrey Dahmer's too nice. You know what I mean? I just don't.
No. I wouldn't want to come in. I don't want to come into contact with him. That's for sure.
No.
And
he's one guy you're going to stray away from.
Absolutely, and. I mean, I have been to locations where there were ghosts that definitely were real assholes. That, places where I went with female investigators where definitely there were male ghosts or entities, if you want to call them, if you don't want to call them ghosts, that were there who specifically targeted the female investigators, some of whom were not necessarily from my group, that felt that they were being singled out for touching, there.
Maybe they were more susceptible.
Maybe they were a little bit more, intuitive types, but or maybe the ghosts were just pervs,
Maybe.
I mean, come on. I think they were. I definitely think they were. Come on. It doesn't end. Because it's not going to end. Just because life is over, if you're stuck here and there's some women there trying to call you out that are looking for you, I can't imagine why they still wouldn't be a perv. You're asking for it.
Yeah.
a perv now. I'm pretty sure that isn't going to change.
Jason, I mean, if somebody called you out and said, hey, I'm here, touch me, I swear to you, I always say when I go into places like that, you can touch me, but in a nice way.
Little Catholic girl shirt.
In a nice way, please. Well, you know, if I wore that, it might be fair game. If I was wearing the skirt, you know, I might be leaving myself open to that option. Well, you know, you never know. But I better be careful what I wear when I go.
I mean, there was one time.
Yeah.
There was one time a while ago I did an investigation down in Virginia, and I was at Carol Malone's house, actually. She's a friend of mine, and her house used to be a halfway house for mentally unstable and stuff. You know, they go to an institution. Once they feel, all right, you're almost okay, we'll throw you here for a little while. Well, anyway, I investigated there the entire night, set up all kinds of cameras, so forth and so on. Doing EVP sessions all night long. Didn't get nothing until I hit that sex topic. Once I hit that sex topic, all the fucking K2 meters, REM pods, everything started going haywire. True story. I'm not even making it up. I swear to God. Yeah, I do think they still. I mean, entities may have that desire, sexual desire, after they die. It's quite possible. So, yeah, I mean, Jody may have gone into investigations and got her boobs groped. It's quite possible.
Yeah. I think, I agree with that, because I believe there are certain words or you know, subject matter that actually would, you know, get that spirit to open up. You know, it could be, like you said, the sex matter or anything else for that matter. You know.
Yeah. And let's just face it, sexual energy is one of the most strongest energies you could possibly have. Everybody wants it. Everybody does it. I mean, hell, right now I'm thinking about Jody in that Catholic skirt, and you know, it is what it is. You know.
I feel a photo session coming on.
Okay. One other thing, if I could bring up another topic about orbs. How does
Let's talk. Yeah. Okay.
The reason why I'm saying it, because I get bombarded from time to time with photos that people send me, you know, claiming to be paranormal, when it's you know, 9 times out of 10 it's just, you know, fractal images or pixelation, or it's been enhanced so much that it's so distorted. But,
right.
You know, they claim that there's faces there, and, you know, moving this away.
Don't you ever see
Excuse me?
Don't you ever see a face in them? Sometimes I really do.
It's a matrix thing. It's just your eyes trying to make sense out of some glob. It's the human mind that does it. It's not
the mind. Exactly. And that's just like, you know, I tell a lot of people, it's just like when you're looking up at the clouds and you're saying, oh, there's a cowboy on a horse, you know. Well, that's exactly what your mind is doing, is putting the pieces together to form something that you're understanding, you know.
But then your ears do the same thing. After a while of hearing white noise over and over, you hear voices in it. Why? Not because there's voices, but because your mind tries to make sense out of the noise that it's hearing. And
you know, it's funny that you bring that up, because, you know, I heard that on a few reality shows, you know, Ghost Hunters and a couple others, that would actually say, oh, this is what it's saying. And I'm like, what the heck? I didn't hear that.
Me too. Me too. I know. I'm so disappointed when that happens, too. Aren't you?
Yeah.
That kills me.
It's all good, though.
Listen, I get excited when I think they really have something, but if I can't hear it and it just doesn't make sense to me,
has anybody come across an AVP?
An EVP?
Yes.
A.
Oh, Class A? First off, you got to define exactly what a Class A is.
No, an audible voice phenomena.
Yes.
Oh, I've heard a couple, yeah.
I really do.
I heard one several years back when we went to the Green Park Inn. There was a paranormal conference there. And it was like, we were in one particular room where there was a girl that supposedly had passed away there. And there were 12, 14 people there, all in that one room. There was like maybe 6 different paranormal groups all crammed into that one room.
Okay.
And it was silent because everybody was getting their recorders ready, and it had just been quiet for maybe a few minutes. And for life of me, all you heard was it was Daddy. A little girl's voice that said, Daddy. And everybody was in awe. It was like, did you hear that? Everybody was in sync together. Did you hear that? So many people all said the same thing. And I said, yeah, I heard that. It was a little girl today. Everybody got on the recorder. It was phenomenal. That was the best thing I heard. An actual AVP at a conference at that. It was really fun.
I do actually have some really good ones from a couple of very specific locations that are the best, coolest locations I've ever been to, and I will have to get those out and show them to Jason. Yeah, because you guys will really, you guys will really appreciate them. There was a great location that I went to down in Georgia. It's privately owned. You can't, just go there. Really creepy location. A lot of different things have gone on there, but it's an old textile mill, to make a long story short. I have one from there where I had actually been touched by something when I walked into the room on top of my hair, and I started asking questions. Who's that? Who touched me? Come on, I know you're here.
Yeah.
You literally hear, though, it's the voice of a little boy going, me, like that. And I actually have the best...
You gave that poor boy a bone.
He's a little boy, and his name is Jeremy. I'm going to show you, Jason. I have an actual photographic apparitional photo of him that is the coolest thing I have ever caught on film, ever. And you can try to debunk it any way that you ever want to debunk it. It's never been enhanced, never been photoshopped or retouched. And I did a lot of research on the location afterwards and found pictures of the people that lived there, and they looked just like that. And it's my favorite thing. I'm dying to go back there. And it's kind of a dangerous location. The sheriff had to spend the night with us, and actually a couple of groups went there, at the same time. It wasn't just the people that I went with, but I got another really creepy one from there where a couple of us were asking questions, and you hear a man's voice come on and go, keep your voices down. We don't like that.
Really?
It's so amazing, and it wasn't any of us. It's really, really weird, and none of us heard it at the time, but it's crazy. It is the best thing ever. So I'm going to find those for you guys. I'm going to dig those out. I have them, and yeah, I would love to share them. I don't currently have a website. I used to have them for the team that I have called Spirit.
Do you have a Facebook page, or?
I have a Facebook page. I currently don't have one for my group, and we also do not call ourselves a ghost hunting group. We are the Southeastern Paranormal Interest Research and Investigation Team, and I'm in the process of moving, so I'm going to have to regroup as well. I'm going to have to find some new team members, but so that's why I don't currently have a group, because I'm in the process of getting kind of reset up, and I'll get a new web page up at some point. But I'll be happy to share, because they're just really, really interesting.
What would be your most comfortable amount of members in your team? Some people say 12 or so, but I don't really consider it needs to be really large. We have 6 in our team, and I think that's pretty comfortable. And even number is really good because you can always pair off and stuff.
Well, I don't know.
What do you think?
I like odd numbers because, I like to have one person watching the DVR throughout the night. And let's just face it, one person is always going to wind up saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to go to McDonald's or Taco Bell, and I'm going to shit this place up for the rest of the night. That happens. So once the odd person does leave, you do still have your even number.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I pack snacks. There's no leaving.
There you now. Yeah. What kind of snacks do you pack, baby? What kind of snack?
I pack so many snacks because, you know, those
There you
touching...
You got any finger foods going on?
Oh, yes, I do. I make
Yeah, you
sandwiches.
You
There are
do a
treats.
lot of crunching.
There are Little Debbie snack cakes. There are chips. Any kind of crap that you want, I have it in the car. There is no leaving. There's no leaving. It's not going to happen.
Sausage and crackers, right? Yeah, buddy.
I'll take some sausage.
Oh.
What? I'm going to watch for you to bring that.
Well, it's not like she said Vienna's, you know.
No. Well, I was pretty
Now,
sure that's not
I think
what he
the
was
question
asking.
is how far will you take the sausage?
I'll do it all the way, baby. All the way.
It's all good.
But I'll share my snack cakes with you.
Nice. You know what to cream out?
Oh, yeah. I hope you do. Absolutely.
All right, we got to get back on topic.
We better get back on topic here. We got to get back on topic.
I can't have a 2-hour dirty show.
You're a tech guy?
Asking, I don't care. I have team members in 2 different states, and you know what? Sometimes people can go, and sometimes they can't go. You know, I had like 25 members on my team, and it wasn't ever a problem for me because everybody wasn't available to go every time.
That's true. That's true.
And so I try not to
It works
limit
out to have such a larger amount because, you know, eventually someone's going to be able to go, and you're always going to be set.
It's that somebody's always got something with their kids, or they're sick, or they can't. Their wife has an issue and they can't make it. And
But the one thing with that is, though, I only have one tech guy, but I tell you, he's great. Ben, he's a tech guy, and he can put gadgets together in a heartbeat, and it works really well for the team.
Well, then he has to go every time, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do any of you experience that one guy who's hyped up about going every weekend, and then the weekend comes, the last minute he calls up and says, no, I can't do it?
Yep, every time.
Yeah.
He can't drive that far. He doesn't have gas money.
Yeah.
His wife has a problem. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I never kick him off the team. I really don't. When people are like, why do you kick him off the team?
Because he's
entertainment.
I have one that fits that criteria, but you know, he's a very good friend as well. That's my one issue. And he's been with me from day one when we used to be called ghost hunters. So he knows more or less where we stand and where we fall from. So that's why he's still with us, you know. So he's a good guy. He does good work.
To me, as long as you're not backstabbing the other members of the team and throwing them under the bus, that I can't take. As long as you're going to team players.
I've ran into issues like that, especially when it comes to evidence. And you go piggybacking with another team, and they want to, you know, you share evidence, and they turn around and boast about, oh, we took this, and we got credit for this, and we did that, and when they were not anywhere near when the incident happened, you know. So we really are careful when it comes to situations like that. So.
Well, guess what I had happen? I had a team that I worked with. Yeah. They didn't have any money. I did.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to use my DVR. They took it home. Yeah, when I got it back, I guess they thought I was a dumb chick, something like that. I don't know, dumb, blonde, maybe. I might be blonde, but I'm not so dumb. And I was heading out to New Orleans, so I needed it. And anyway, I noticed that my DVR felt different because they switched out my hard drive on me. They totally did. They switched out my hard drive.
That's a very critical rule. We do not.
Can you imagine how fucking shady was that?
What kind of equipment do both of you use? Well, Jody, I know what kind of equipment you use. You know, between the Catholic thing and the sausages, and you know. But Nick, what kind of equipment do you use?
Well, I would say I'm very comfortable with. We have a lot of stuff. I have 4 Sony camcorders, and I'm very comfortable with Sony because being the product that we use and that I've been using from day one, and the reason being is because Sonys have always had night vision functions implemented into the product. So I've always bought those.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been uncomfortable with other cameras because I bought several others and they never had anything near to what I could use for in the field, unless I used IR lenses, to accommodate seeing in the dark, I recently, though, bought a Bell & Howell. Does anybody have one of those?
I do know a few people at Bell & Howell. They say that the slim model is a lot better than the other one.
Yeah, it is.
I don't have that.
I was kind of procrastinating on buying it, and I finally broke down and bought one. And I took it to one of our last cases, and I was really impressed with the lighting on it, because I didn't have to use any additional IR lens just for that camera itself.
Right.
And it worked rather well. So.
Okay. I got a couple of camcorders, that I set up on tripods. They're Sony that I set up on tripods, and I've got night vision, and I've got a set of 6 other cameras that we set up that feed back, to the computers and the DVR. Motion sensors, natural EMF, K2, meld meter, a bunch of recorders with microphones, all the
What kind
basic
of audio recorders do I use?
I use a bunch of different ones, actually, just small handheld digital recorders. I've got a couple that are Sony, and a few other ones that I got on sale.
Yeah.
Just basic. And then I've got a Nikon.
I noticed, I don't want to say basic, because I noticed that there's some of the units out there, as far as audio recorders go, that, in order to be able to hear or catch anything that would be questionable as an EVP, you want to make sure that the recorder is capable of catching at least 400 hertz.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well, and of course, and you've got to be able to upload them to your computer, of course, as well.
Yeah, and the software's got to be able to take that, to be able to analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, because I've had a few experiences with one of my friends, like I was mentioning earlier, if you're not prepared when you're going to shop our equipment, if you're not being careful to look over what you're getting, because he just went over there and grabbed what he first saw and then took it with him to one of our cases, and I said, "Are you geared up?" He says, "Yeah, I got my recorder right here." He recorded, and the case was all well and everything, but when it came to analyzing, he couldn't do anything. Why? Because that had a USB port.
Oh, no.
So that was dead.
That was a waste of time.
Yes.
And then I use an Ovilus, and I've got a Shack Hack, and there's a few new pieces of equipment I'd really like, a few new things I'd really like to get at. I'm trying to decide, I really wanted a Frank box for the longest time, just because I'm sensitive.
Does anybody own a thermometer?
I will not waste my money on it. I know a few people that own one.
I don't.
Waste of money.
You think?
I can't see. Personally, I wouldn't mind having one, but I can't see spending $4,000 on it.
I thought about getting the.
You can get them now for around $800 to about $2,000, and you can find them for that. But again, it's a waste of money. It's a very expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And that's one rule when it comes to buying equipment. Don't spend no more money than you're going to get pissed when it breaks. Not enough.
That's right. Definitely.
And I use a couple of old laptops that I designate, just for paranormal, to keep all my photographs and things like that on. But does anybody have an Echo Box?
No.
What do you know about that, Jason? Anything? I'm thinking about that.
That's a fairly new piece of equipment. I have not used one. I don't even know what it does. I try to stick to the basics.
I was going to ask you what that particular thing does. Is that sort of like does it channel hop or?
Well, I use a Shack Hack, and it's got so much noise interference that it drives me crazy. But it does work.
One of the reasons why, I don't know if it would work or not, but to me it would be really confusing as to tell whether or not you were getting something, that you could, that you would even think would be paranormal, because it's channel hopping, and it's, it's saying numerous words and all that, and as if it has anything to do with what's going on in the session.
I'll tell you what, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting sometimes.
I know a guy that took one at one of the conferences, and talked about upset because there was like 20 other people there with audio recorders, and it really infected everybody else's stuff because, of course, with all the static and everything. What was going on?
Sure. I don't know. I would love to get the Frank's box because it's quiet, and just for somebody like me, is a psychic. I just always wanted one, and I can't.
How much is the Frank's box?
I can't find somebody really that I think is reputable to buy one from. I think I could probably get one $1,500, maybe, and I can afford it. I'll buy one if I could find somebody.
I think I can give you the cheapest way to make your own Frank's box. The cheapest way of getting one. This is what you do. You go out and you buy a police scanner and not programming. Don't even program. And that's it. Just hit scan, and it's not going to pick up any frequencies. It's just going to keep scanning through channels.
Isn't that going to be just like the Shack Hack that I have? It's going to be noisy like that.
No, it isn't. They're not noisy.
No?
Oh.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, that might work then. And then I know somebody that bought an Echo Box from Danny Bigbeard. I'm going to find out how that's working for him, how he likes it, before I do that, and find out what the best option is. I really want to get something new. There's a few new things I'd like to get. A couple. I'm ready. I'm ready to pick up a few new pieces of equipment for sure.
Yeah.
And what about the SB7? Do you have one of those, Jason?
I wouldn't even waste my money on it. I don't like ghost boxes. I don't like anything that's scanning through radio frequencies. I don't like them.
Okay.
I know my friend Bobby has one, and he is so adamant and so persistent about trying to let us use it on a case. And I was like, okay, well, you can use it, but you can use it last because I want to make sure everybody uses their audio recorders and one doesn't infect the other.
Of course,
to where everything is contaminated from hearing all static. Because when it comes to analyzing, you want to be able to hear what's going on.
I agree. I really do agree with that. The reason that I'm talking about this is because as we approach a certain time of year, towards the end of October and early November, the time when the veils between the worlds are thinner, that's the time of year that I sort of like to experiment with that sort of thing, just to see just from my curiosity to see what I'm going to be able to get. And I'm only going to buy one new thing, but I just need to decide what I think I'm going to get the best results from, before I get to that time of year. And I would definitely like to try to do some sort of a gallery reading and see what sort of things come through at that time of year. I'll try to host some sort of an event as we get closer to that time. I'll try to plan something, but I want it to be fun and interactive for people and see what comes through. And maybe it's not necessarily going to be for me, but I want it to be things that people can actually hear. And see. Let's just see what happens. I think it would be fun.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what kind of bullshit equipment that happen out there that you have used that you would recommend people don't even waste your money? They're more gimmicks than anything.
Oh, I'm not crazy. I'm going to say this, but I have the very first edition. I'm so not crazy about my first edition Obelisk, but I think I really need to send it back in. He's done so many changes and so many upgrades to that piece of equipment since I bought it that if I send it in, I know that he will upgrade it and make some changes to it for me, and so I just need to do that. So I'm going to take care of that, but I don't know. A lot of people have mixed reviews about that particular piece of equipment. What do you think? What have you heard?
I don't know. I really, myself, I do a lot of research prior to diving in and buying something because I want to make sure I'm hearing a lot of comments and input from everybody around me that's in the field as well.
Okay.
That already has the particular equipment that I'm interested in to make sure what they say is, it's a good thing to buy, or no, it's not such a good investment.
Right. I mean, I work most frequently. I mean, I go around most frequently with my recorders, my cameras, my K2, my natural EMF. I kind of like to go old style.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I most frequently use. The only reason I have
equipment has become very effective. So
I think they're the most effective, and I think that they're the most reliable. I really do, and I like my motion sensor detector. I kind of enjoy using those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. I like motion detectors. I got a slew of them. I've got.
I use laser grids.
Laser.
I would love that. I would love to get one.
I do have, and I like them. I mean, they're pretty good. They're not really for detecting anything, but it's pretty impressive on some of the things that you can get out of them. They're extremely inexpensive. Like the one that I have, I paid $20 for. I think they go all the way up to like $80. I think some of the really good ones, but they're fairly cheap.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's cheap. I would definitely pick one up for that price. Yeah.
And the battery's so dead quick in them. That's the only problem. And a lot of people I know, they'll jump on, there's vanity that drain it. No, it ain't. You can set it up in your own fucking house and it'll go dead in 15 minutes, too.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
That's another big thing that I tend to see a lot, and I don't know if you guys tend to see it, the battery drain issue. For some odd reason, it has not clicked into people's head that for some odd reason, that it's the same equipment that everybody owns that the battery drains quick. It's mostly the fucking camera. Your camera's going dead, and people say it's a ghost. No, it's the fucking camera.
If you know your equipment well enough, you'll understand what is going to happen with it. Whereas somebody that just buys a camera and it drains right away, the first thing going to be like, the ghost just ate it up. Took all my energy.
Camera batteries don't last long. I'm sorry to tell people they do not last long at all. And especially if you have it switched over to IR, it fills the battery even quicker.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, unfortunately.
So what's your favorite?
Go ahead. What's your favorite one?
Did we lose her?
Is she still there?
I don't know. Did Jody drop? I don't know. I can't even, venture a guess of what she was even going to say.
Oh,
I'm back.
Oh, okay. So what were you in the midst of saying?
I just wondered, what was Jason's, what is your favorite piece of equipment? When you go on an investigation, what do you love to use? What do you get the best results from?
A notebook.
Really? I always take a notebook. You've got to do that. I mean, you have to.
Notebook is going to tell a lot. If everybody's documenting and putting down all their experiences, you can put little patterns within the night. And that way you're figuring out that particular location.
Exactly.
You can't get that with a K2 meter. You can't get that with a voice recorder. You can't get that with anything else except what you write down, a notebook.
Yeah, because no matter how much of a memory you have, you're not going to remember everything. Especially an audio recorder, it's better if you notate every little thing that you go through, especially with the sessions and all, because a lot of times somebody might go over, which is another thing that I make sure everybody does is 10-minute increments. I don't know how everybody is about that. Does anybody go beyond that, or?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
On your recording sessions, we do a 10-minute increments where the sessions are no longer than that. So that way, when it comes to analyzing, you're not sitting there for hours listening to the audio. Okay, you're just listening at separate cuts, 10-minute increments each set. So in other words, when you're recording, you're saying living room, so and so time, session 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Recorder's on. You're asking. You're doing your questioning for roughly 10 minutes, and then your time ends.
I would say it depends on the location. We do sometimes go longer than that. I don't know about you, Jason, but we do. We will go 20 minutes. In a great location.
It's probably good, but to me, it's more comfortable because it's easier especially. I know everybody's in sync when it comes to doing the recording because I go like 3, 2, 1. Everybody clicks the recorders on at the same time, so that when it comes to analyzing and you're looking back and you're saying like 2 minutes into the recording, everybody can associate that time frame instead of, well, I don't have it, because I don't know what time that was or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. It has to be very organized, always.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did
Ay. 1 sec.
Should I just call back in?
No, you're good. I got you. I just got to get Jason online. 1 second.
Oh, okay, great. Perfect.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
What happened?
I don't know. Technical. We're having a
Jason, your one guest is down, and try getting the other one.
All right.
You there, Jason?
I'm here.
Okay. So the other one got lost too?
We're got to get Jody back. I guess the server went down for a minute.
Oh, okay. I was say before I got, I was trying to say before I got bumped off, because I forgot to mention that we have a website called theprismofnc.com.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's there.
Excellent.
Good.
We have Jody back.
Yep, and you're live.
Did you put that Catholic skirt back on?
We got everything all set. You're ready to go.
Excellent.
Absolutely. I put it back on. My knee socks. They come over the knee. You know what I'm
Yeah, I was trying to stress that because I knew, with the radio and everything, it's kind of hard to tell whether you're going to get some connection is going to get disconnected or whatever. So I make sure I put our team website in there because I wanted to give all of the team credit because they do a really great job.
Oh, where did you put that?
Well, yeah.
Where is that? I don't see it. In the chat room?
Well, it's on our website, theprismofnc.com.
Okay. All right, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. It still needs a lot of updating and stuff. And I have so many things on my plate that I'm trying to get done.
Absolutely. Websites, they take a lot of time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we're live yet.
Yeah.
I think we are.
I have no idea.
I'm always lost.
Let's just talk about how open you are, Jody.
Do we
How's
want to talk
that skirt you wore?
I don't know. This is Ghost Chat Radio, Jason. I don't know if
It is. It's their chat radio.
I don't know if we want to talk about what do you mean? What kind of how open? Do we want to talk about how open I am to spirits, or how open I am? I mean, what do you mean?
Well, he's pretty much stuck on the skirt.
Oh, Jason. I better not tell you what else I have in my closet. This could be a huge problem. You should see my golf clothes.
My clothes
Not PG-13.
You don't golf, do you, Jason?
Yeah, I told you that this would be a show you would remember. If you're going to co-host with me for a little while, then I definitely got to break you into the style that I do.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to.
And then maybe one day I can just break you in.
So let me ask you, when does this session air?
When
does this air? What live?
I think I'm going to have to break you in.
Break me in? Is that a promise?
Mm-hmm.
You're not just teasing me, right?
So this party's live?
I feel a trip to one of Jason's events coming on. Very.
Well, if you're going to attend an event that I'm doing, you definitely want to hurry up because I'm going to be postponing my event due to a upcoming filming schedule.
Oh, that's right.
I mean,
when is that going to be?
What are you working on?
Yeah.
It's going to be a TV project, but I signed an NDA, so I can't really go into details.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. Don't you need a really blonde, buxom psychic to come on once in a while and, I don't know, hang around? I am a professional makeup artist for a very long time. Maybe you need
Oh, awesome.
Truly, I have a resume. I am a professional makeup artist.
Excellent.
So perhaps you need a personal makeup artist. I don't know. Occasionally. In a plaid skirt or something.
Nice.
Something like that. Or
I like that.
some kind of... Oh, I better not say. I'm going to get in trouble.
Let's chat about ghosts. Let's just say you're in an investigation and you have the radios going and obviously that's messing with the K2 meters and you have your EMF pumps going on. And Jody, how big are your breasts?
Oh, Jason, my breasts are a 38 triple D.
I was only kidding. You didn't have to answer.
I didn't know that. You didn't want to know.
just to let you know that DGM does have a 2.5 million reach.
I'm pretty sure you're going to have to stop thinking about the plaid skirt now.
No.
That's all right, because everybody on No Limits already knows.
In the beginning of the show, I wanted to discuss a lot about safety because investigating safety safely. Yeah, it's a major concern of mine.
And meters going off. What's happening?
What's that?
We're at an investigation, and the K2 meter is going off. What was the question?
Okay. Nothing. I was just joking around then. Now I'd like to discuss safety issues.
Okay.
Safety issues. What kind of safety protocols do you tend to expect your team members to follow?
Do I expect my team members to follow it? Well, first of all, being that I'm a sensitive, I'm always extremely concerned with entities following people home. I don't know, for the both of you, if that's a huge concern for you, but I personally have this experience. My daughter's a sensitive. She has this experience as well. So I really feel very strongly about spiritual protection and psychic protection. So I actually have a little exercise that I've taught to all the members on my team, and also to my daughter, in that, we like to say a prayer, and we also like to have all the members of our team do this exercise before we enter into a location. Also, before we leave a location, we also like to speak to whatever might be there.
Yeah, yes, exactly, addressing the spirit.
Yeah, we like to address them and let them know that they are definitely not invited to follow us home. They are not welcome to come. They cannot follow us home. We do not want them to come. So that is something that I personally really, really worry about and that I have problems with. Other than that, safety issues, it depends upon the location. We go to some very decrepit, very old locations sometimes. So just knowing the location, there are sometimes areas of the building that are not safe, and those are things that we need to map out ahead of time and discuss with our team as well when we're setting up.
Yeah, that's true.
There's power. Often there's no power, whatsoever. There's no lighting whatsoever. So, we need to take that on a case-by-case basis as well.
Yeah, we've ran into a situation like that. We did a case several years back when we used to be the ghost hunters. We did the Vander warehouse, and in Vander, North Carolina. And this was a warehouse that had been closed for several years. It was decrepit, it was falling apart, railings and everything was rusted and corroded. And Dave, who was the co-founder of the team at the time, he knew the owner, which was a very good thing to do, because we always stress and make sure we get it to the owner or whoever's in charge of the property itself to get permission beforehand, so we don't go in there blindly without anybody's permission. because that could be a big issue, trespassing and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. But he had let us go over, and it was really a big help for us.
Well, and always something else is, a lot of these groups will try to go to locations they have no business going to or no permission to go to.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
I've seen too many times where teams have done that. They just, take it upon themselves to hop fences, where, especially where the signs are posted right there, no trespassing, and, well, they go ahead anyway.
I mean, if people are going to do that, fine, have at it. But if something happens to you, you get injured, anything, don't sue anyone. You went in there on your own risk. If you fuck up and you get injured, you're on your own.
That's it.
Right. And we don't do anything like that ever. We always make sure that the local police...
An additional thing that I wanted to stress, if I could, I don't know how everybody else feels about, but I tell all my members and those that are interested in the field itself, to never go alone.
Oh, yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people on Facebook or Twitter or whoever, or even on the street that'll, boast about how they went out by themselves and take pictures here, and they're like, are you kidding me? I mean, are you even thinking of your own safety at all?
No, I agree 100%. Never go alone. Again, don't even think about the ghost. Think of yourself tripping over something, breaking your fucking leg for whatever reason, and there's nobody around to hear you scream. You know what I mean? If you have someone, at least they can help you out to your car or get you to the proper medical that's needed.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, that just is common sense. I mean, no matter where you're going, when you think about it, I'm not talking in your hometown and, around town running errands, but, traveling, going to someplace new, you really shouldn't be going to any of those places, any kind of sightseeing. You really shouldn't be doing it alone.
Yeah.
And that can always be dangerous.
And one of the other biggest things I stress out is before actually doing a nighttime investigation, be sure you spend a lot of time in there during the day so you know what location it looks like, you know what all the hazards are, point them out, and make sure everybody in the team sees them so that while you're in there at night, wandering around aimlessly in the dark, you can barely see, you don't accidentally hit one of those hazards.
You don't know the environment or anything, what's there around you or anything, That's why, like you said, it's good to go there in the daytime so you know what to expect, what's where, and it all entails, that you might go across because there might be traps or something that you're going to walk through, cut your leg or break a leg, you never know.
Right.
Especially when you're getting into old asylums. They a lot of them, I mean, they've got, old carts laying around, they've got, broken boards laying on the ground with nails sticking out of them. You got to be careful of those, and you have to look for those and know where they are so that you don't get hurt.
Jason, do you normally like to go and set up some of your equipment during the day prior to the investigation when you can? I do.
It's funny. I do what I like to call blast investigations before a full-blown investigation, and happens typically after I interview all the people, I get all the information, location, so forth and so on. I will go in there and spend, depending how big the location is, but at a minimum an hour with my recorders, a K2 meter, looking around, just shouting out at questions, just seeing what if there's anything that's going to wind up, coming out to play with us. But while I'm doing that, I'm also looking for, all the hazards at the same time.
Yeah,
that's
I really agree with that. Yeah.
And just interviewing as many people as you can who might be involved with the location ahead of time is always great, too. If you can talk to more than one person, I love it when I'm able to do that as well.
Yes, it's great when you've got more than one witness, that can shed some light on what's going on.
And I'm sure that you guys do, but we have, I have very formal paperwork that I've been using for years. That I have filling out ahead of time as well, which I think is very helpful. And I think a lot of groups don't do that, especially a lot of new groups. There's
a lot that don't even bother with paperwork, which is really bad. I think there's...
keep it. I mean, do you guys keep it? I keep that stuff for years. I mean, I really do.
My files, I've got files going back 10 years ago. But, I've got, like, a packet that, has to get filled out. And my questions are, a lot of my questions, a lot of people look at me and say, well, why the fuck are you asking that? It's kind of personal. Well, everything that I ask does play a part in what I'm doing. And I try to explain that to people, but, it is what it is.
Me too. And, sometimes they want to skip a question or, I'll explain it to them a different way. But, yeah, absolutely. I think you have to ask personal questions about these locations, and especially when it's a family location. It's even more important.
Yeah, you're doing whatever you can to help that particular client.
We use the client questionnaire form, location forms, and one of our most critical is also the release form, which is basically breaks down as to whether or not the client accepts or agrees to releasing information that we collect, the data that we collect, to be used for later on for educational purposes or research purposes, for like posting photos or audio or video to others on the internet. But we do, for the most part, we exclude anything for the privacy of the client, which is names and addresses.
Oh, sure.
For their protection.
Another thing that I see happening a lot, speaking of clients, and Jody in a skirt, but this is another thing that I see. I post pictures. I'll post specific pictures of a particular location, and then people, they want me to tell them where it is, and I try to tell them, look, I can't give out that information.
Yeah,
like, why? Illegal. It's like, no, because, that client didn't want...
That fine line there. I run into that a lot, yeah.
They don't mind. The clients won't mind if you post the pictures, but they do not want their name or the address,
exactly.
anywhere. And a lot of people, I guess they don't like to respect that, and they'll just do it anyway, by the way it sounds, because, I don't understand it.
Well, that's where you draw the line between rookies and professionalism.
It's a huge professionalism issue, and I have several clients who, I've done investigations in buildings that are now restaurants. One of them used to be a brothel, one time back in the day. One of them was a private home. Now it's a retail establishment, but it's definitely there's someone there. There's a little girl that lives there. And don't want it publicized. They don't want people to know. They're afraid that maybe people will think negatively about it. Don't want to go to their establishment. So, I completely do understand that. I would never reveal, where those locations are.
Yeah.
Try to ask the client, do you mind if this gets publicized? And, a lot of times they do say, no, we don't want this anywhere. We don't want no one to know anything about it. They don't even want their neighbors. So that's another question that a lot of clients have asked me, is there any way we can get in without no one seeing you? And I'd say, I can do that. I can come in the night before, throw my gear in there, and come back the next night, and we're just people visiting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I have magnets that I put on my car, but I don't put them on my car when I have a client that's like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. When I go to the initial interview, I normally strip the car down out. I keep all the magnets off, for the client's purpose. So you got neighbors looking out the window. Oh, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
It's respectful.
Yeah, dog. Now, how do these guys handle your evidence review? Do you split it up? Do you have, people do certain things? Do you just say, all right, here's the DVR, everyone just start watching? How do you do it?
Well, Ben does a lot of our DVR work, so he more or less concentrates on all that. Everybody more or less concentrates on their own equipment and reviews it as well. And they also share it amongst the team so that way we can, what one person hears or sees doesn't necessarily mean that another person is not going to see the same thing, because they might hear something or see something different that the prior person didn't catch or whatever. So that way everybody, you get more with more eyes and ears than you do with just one. So all the material is exchanged evenly.
Absolutely. I think, everyone on my team always reviews their own recorder. I review the DVRs first. I have 2 of them. I review them first, and then I typically have someone else review them afterwards, or we go through things together with several people where I think I found something. I review my own recording devices first, and then I have someone else review them as well to see what they think. I review all, and I take a lot of pictures, and for whatever reason, I think I catch more things than anybody else on the team catches. I don't know why that. I don't know why. It seems like toes. I said spirit toes for me. I find things that other people don't seem to find. But even when I found something, sometimes maybe not. I always give it to somebody else to go through it and see what they, or they'll look at it and say, I don't know about that. And then if somebody says that, I throw it out. That's it. If there's
have you ever come across where somebody will sit there and say, listen to this audio. It says, "Hey, Bob."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People, the listeners and all, they say, dude, check this out. I got a cool cat. This is what it's saying, dude. Check it. And all you hear is, shh, and that's it.
Well, it's more or less what you do. What would normally happen is it would be a better way of going about it is you tell your co-member or whatever, you say, look, I got some audio here, I think I got something. Tell me what you hear, versus volunteering what you're hearing, and because all of those contaminate their mind, and they're already looking for what you've told them, more or less.
I always just throw the recorder to them or the audio to them and say, watch this very closely. I don't tell them exactly what time, when it happened, or whatever. Yeah. And have them just take notes, and then we compare the notes afterwards.
Great.
I like to do like a once a month meeting. Like, if you've been on a couple of investigations recently, after everybody has a chance to review, all of their personal, I like everybody to bring it over, and usually I'll have some kind of a house party, if you will. And I'll make some kind of food. We'll have a barbecue, chili, or
and
whatever.
A skirt.
And I'll put on something really slutty and
buddy. Don't ruin the dream, Jody. Don't ruin the dream.
I'll put on something super, super slutty and have everybody over, and then we sit around the dining table, and that's what we do. We take turns. Okay, what do you hear? Do you hear anything? Okay, I think I heard something, but what do you hear? And then everybody writes it down, and then we compare.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there and kind of vote on it.
I don't know, but I think we just gave a bunch of people a Woody.
It's got to be really tight. I like my clothes. I just like them tight. Loose clothes just make you look fat. We're getting off topic, but I really hate that.
We are getting way off topic, and it's all good.
I am a really good cook, and I usually keep a really nice place. So I like having people over. It's fun. It's a cool thing to do. And usually, if you ask, everybody's like, "Oh no, I don't want everybody to come to my place." So whatever. So we all come over here, and it's a great camaraderie. Promotes a good team feeling, and if whoever can come over, comes over.
Right.
Excellent. What kind of recorders do you guys like to use?
I use Olympus.
I mostly have Sony. I mostly have Sony.
Yeah, I also have a Sony.
Just a little handheld digital. Sometimes I plug extra microphones into them.
I've got a variety of different types of recorders personally. I've got an Olympus, I've got 2 RCAs, and I've got a couple Sonys, but I also have each one Zoom, and that's a real-time recorder, and I love that recorder. That's the best recorder I've ever bought. Well worth the money.
Well, I hate to really cut it short, guys, but I really got to go. I've got to go outside and feed some goats. We have a little farm as well, so that keeps me pretty occupied as well.
All right.
But when we switch over our website, theprismofmc.com, for everybody to check out and visit us. We also have a blog on there and a forum page. to get some personal feedback on what you feel about any of the topics that are related to the paranormal.
Great.
Of course, there's, okay.
Everybody check it out. I'm going to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks a lot, Jason, for having me on the show. I was really great sharing all of the great information and everything, and all the great topics, including the plastic script.
Maybe I overshared. I
don't know. Give me a ring next time you have another show. I'll be glad to be on there.
Excellent. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. And
thanks so much, guys.
Talking to you. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we still have 10 minutes, and for the next 10 minutes, Jody is my bitch.
All right. I'm going to go on with that.
Ooh, I can do a lot in 10 minutes, baby. I can do a lot. Let's see what we got cooking.
Cooking good looking.
Nah. Actually, I had a couple good questions before we end, because we have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Considering that you're sensitive, how does that play a part in your investigating?
It plays a huge part. For the most part, with every team that I've worked with, I'm usually the only sensitive. And that's fine. I mean, I really wouldn't mind having another sensitive on the team. It's always great to have somebody else to bounce names off of that I get or dates off of that I get. And I think that all sensitives have different types of talent. Jason, do you have a sensitive on your team?
I do not. I don't know. My buddy Luke, he's a bit sensitive at times. He cries. But as far as with any kind of psychic abilities, no.
Right, well, stop insulting him and stop dropping the guy. He won't cry so much. He's so mean, Jason.
He's funny. So he's afraid of. He was in the Army or Navy or I don't fucking know what he was in. He had a gun at one time for the government. Well, anyway, he's like big time afraid of spiders. So I went to the dollar store and I got like one of those packages of cheap fucking dollar spiders, and I was throwing them at him.
Oh, God. So cruel. You're so cruel. Well,
but you gotta lighten the mood.
I am somebody who I read stones. Ever since I was a little child, I really have the gift of picking up vibrations from not just, from items. Like if you were to give me somebody's ring, for instance, and I held it in my hand, I could definitely tell you things about that person. Even when I do readings for people, they bring me things that belong to people that they want to know things about. And it happens the same way with locations that I go to. So often if it's an old location, if I put my hands on the bricks or on the doorways or, even pieces of old furniture or old jewelry, often I can get names and interesting information about the people that live there or about things that happen in that location. So that's something, I really love that. It's something that is so fascinating to me about the different locations that I go to. And so that's why I've got to carry a notebook because, I usually don't know anything about the location, at all before we go there. And it's something that I always like to compare afterwards when I am trying to go ahead and get research, on whatever location that we've gone to, because it's fascinating to see if I can draw some sort of an interesting parallel. So for me, it just adds sort of an extra layer, and an extra dimension, if you will, to the investigation. Now, there's always people that I work with that are
I think it's the effective having a sensitive. A lot of people, in my honest opinion, I think they go about it the wrong way. A lot of psychics don't like investigators, and a lot of investigators don't like psychics, only because they haven't been able to coincide with one another. And that's one of the biggest problems that you find with people with any kind of abilities on the team. Personally, I can get along with them. I can use them. But considering, I have a radio show and I've got a lot of events going on, I really haven't even been investigating with my team. In all honesty, I think I should probably call them up and say, hey, what's going on? You remember me? But no, that's just me.
You are very busy. It's so funny that you said that because actually even David that I do the...
Okay, we have dead air. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello?
Lady?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm here. It's funny that you said that because I've actually heard it this week on Facebook, several different places, paranormal investigators openly stating that they have problems getting along with sensitives. And I don't understand it. We are a little bit different.
Well, I think the problem is it's a lack of respect between one another. A psychic has to understand that an investigator is a specific person trying to do their job, and they have to help him do his job, and the same thing goes vice versa. The investigator has to respect what the psychic can do and learn how to, help them do their job. You know what I mean? And they can't do that. I have worked with psychics that they're extremely good psychics, but I can't work with them no more. Why? Because they rely solely on their ability. I can't go up to a client and say, little Jimmy is here because my psychic said it. I can't do that. I need the evidence to support it.
You know what
you
that is?
Understand what I'm saying?
I don't do that. See, I am fully invested as a paranormal researcher and as an investigator. I go in fully as an investigator with whatever team I'm working with. Like, I am there doing every bit of investigating that everyone else is doing exactly the way that they are doing it as well, while I'm also honing in on whatever psychic information I can glean.
And that's what we got to do. I mean, if the psychic picks something up sensitive, then he's got to say, look up to the investigator and say, hey, I think something's happening over here. Can you come over here with your camera, K2 meter or something? Help me document this, because in the long run, it's helping the psychic solidify their abilities a little bit more, and vice versa.
I have worked with, there are locations that I've been to where 2 or 3 teams have been allowed to go in, locations where we've had to get permission. 2 or 3 teams.
I have no idea what happened again. I think you're seriously breaking up there, Jody.
Can you hear me?
Hola, señorita.
I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? Jason?
It's all good.
That is so strange. I'm not doing anything different. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, that's so strange. Like, I'm not even moving. I'm not doing anything different. But
That is strange.
I have seen people that I know who are psychics, and you know what they do? They go into a location and they're like, oh, I'm psychic. Let me walk around and, ooh, I feel this, and I'm just going to walk through and tell you what I think and what I feel. And I see what you're saying about the fact that maybe they aren't working with the paranormal researchers, and maybe they aren't really invested as seriously as an investigator. They just want to sort of breeze through and do their thing as a psychic. And I could see where that could create, that experience that you're talking about on some teams. And I don't know why that happens. I don't know why they feel like that's the way that they need to go in and approach the situation. I feel like if you're going to be on a research team, you need to be fully invested in all areas of it. I mean, I sat at the DVR. I've taken my turn at the table, watching the screens, just like everybody else. I help set up the equipment. I do everything that everyone else does, and I think that that's the way, that it should be. And I think that that's maybe why I never have trouble with, I get along with everybody, and I think that that's maybe why I never have trouble with getting respect, and also why I never have trouble with getting along with, everybody either. That so many psychics do seem to have that problem.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. We're down to the last 5 minutes, and before we do the last part of the show, I got to say, Jody, you have been an excellent, amazing co-host, and hopefully you can co-host again tomorrow night. But tomorrow night's a lot later of a show, so tomorrow night can be a little bit more better of a show. Are you down with that, Jody?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that, Jason. What time is the show tomorrow?
Did you cut out again?
No.
I can hear you somewhat.
I don't know why this is happening tonight.
I think it's your phone.
It shouldn't be. and my microphone is plugged in. Everything seems fine.
I think it's her phone.
Is it? Maybe it was the dial-in on this last dial-in, since there was.
I don't know. She'll pop back in a minute, hopefully. But I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
What time is the show?
5 p.m. Eastern, so it's like 8 o'clock your time.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Excellent. And make sure everyone gets out all your information right now there, Jody.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Visual, please.
It's a good thing we did this on Monday, on the slow night, I guess.
Yeah.
On the quieter night. Okay, so who am I getting my information to?
Well, everybody out there who's listening.
Okay, everybody. Anybody that would like to add me on Facebook, I have 2 different Facebook pages. You can find me under Joe Haunt or also under Jody Smith, which is my radio show page for Jody No Limits, which is another radio show that I've been doing as well. And I'd love to see you there. So come on by and check it out, and come on by tomorrow night and check me out again with Jason. We'll be talking about something else that I'll be wearing, I'm sure.
Hopefully. We'll see what happens. But if anyone wants to contact me, just look up Jason Stanton on Facebook. Check out Ghost Chat Radio, like that page, and I do try to stay up to date. I know I've been slacking on it lately because, we've had a lot of floods here, and I've been in and out of my house, and it's been crazy. So continue to like that page and check it out and stay up to date. Go to Amazon, pick up my book. It's available on Kindle and paperback. It's called Unrested Peace. It's a cool tale. It's got nothing but 5-star ratings, which is fucking impressive. I don't think there's a book out there that has all 5-star ratings.
No,
so
that's awesome.
That is awesome. Fantastic. What is it? Next Saturday is the Palmyra, New York event, way the fuck upstate New York. I mean, almost in Canada is what I'm talking about. It's going to be an awesome event. I'm going to be there. A few other people are going to be there. It's going to be just one great time. It's a private location. We have multiple buildings in that area that we get to check out. I've got a bunch of gear I'm going to let you guys play with. It's going to be a very good night. And then September 20th, I'll be down in Virginia at St. Albans doing a benefit down there. And that's all I have right now because, like I said, I'm not booking any more events because of the upcoming filming schedule. I can't, promise something and then not do it. That's not me. That's not my style. But thank you for co-hosting, Jody, and hopefully you can continue to co-host until we figure out what I can do with you, baby.
Until Jason kicks me off, I will see you all soon.
A co-host, because let's just face it, with the film scheduling coming up, there's going to be plenty of times where I can't even do my show.
That's true. That could absolutely happen. That could absolutely happen. You are a very busy man.
Sometimes. I try not to be.
Why? It's good to be busy. It's more fun.
I spend a lot of time working hard trying to figure out ways not to work.
So do I. Oh, work less, make more money. That's my theory. Absolutely.
Until tomorrow night, everyone. We'll check you out at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and I think that's 8 p.m. Central Time, and it's, I guess, 7 p.m.